2008 was a year that presented the world's children with a seemingly endless series of natural and man-made disasters. Always at the ready, UNICEF was called upon repeatedly to provide humanitarian assistance to thousands of children and families in need. Though the difficulties were often great, all of us can look back to 2008 with a vital feeling of pride in our accomplishments and reinvigorated dedication to the challenges ahead. UNICEF's accomplishments in 2008 proved time and again that the combined effectiveness of governments, international organisations, the private sector and local communities are delivering results for children and progress towards the Millennium Development Goals. Food and nutrition insecurity is an increasing concern for millions of vulnerable people, as fluctuating prices, growing populations, poor harvests, drought and desertification took their toll in 2008. To address the situation, the Secretary-General, Ban Ki-moon, established a high-level task force in April, of which UNICEF is a member. Today, more children are in school than ever before, including millions whose lives have been upended by conflict or disaster. UNICEF and the European Union are supporting schools in Syria to accommodate the influx of thousands of refugees from Iraq. In February, Executive Director Anne M. Veneman travelled to Liberia, where she saw for herself how ever more children are returning to school and communities continue to recover from years of conflict. The Executive Director paid official visits to 22 countries in all this year, including Brazil, Ghana, Haiti, Ireland, Kazakhstan, Madagascar, Mexico, Sierra Leone and Togo. In the DRC, survivors of sexual violence publicly spoke out, breaking their silence as part of V-Day and UNICEF's global campaign, Stop Raping Our Greatest Resource, Power to Women and Girls in DRC. Standing before government and UN officials, international delegates and V-Day founder Eve Ensler, women and girls told their stories of rape and its impact on their lives. "30 years after the Alma-Ata Declaration, progress on primary healthcare continues. New data released in September showed that under-5 mortality continues to decline. To expand on this progress, UNICEF and our H8 partners are working to develop technical support, enhance community-based interventions, build capacity, strengthen health systems, and expand programming on newborn and maternal health. In April, the Countdown to 2015 report on maternal, newborn and child survival was released at the annual Interparliamentary Union Assembly in Cape Town. Afterwards, 500 global health experts were urged to work to accelerate progress on child and maternal mortality. Niger was one of many countries where a continuum of care has been introduced to reduce pregnancy-related deaths, as the Executive Board saw for themselves in April. In Nigeria, young people are leading the charge in the fight against HIV/AIDS, using knowledge as their weapon in classrooms and on the streets. And on the Zambezi, inflatable boats from the Rollback Malaria Partnership roared up the river, delivering cargoes of mosquito nets to some of the most remote settlements in the world. At the J8 meeting in Japan, young people called on global leaders to confront climate change head-on. In October, the sale of climate-themed paintings by young people raised funds to benefit UNICEF's emergency programs through the UNEP Paint for the Planet initiative. And popular Australian children's entertainers, the Wiggles, donated a song to UNICEF to mark the first ever Global Hand Washing Day and encourage behaviour change. Building public-private collaborations to achieve innovation-driven results for children remained a vital part of UNICEF's fundraising and advocacy strategy in 2008. Providing emergency relief remained a UNICEF hallmark in 2008. UNICEF and its partners brought education and post-trauma care to children who survived the quake in China and conflict in Gaza. Rebuilt or rehabilitated dozens of schools damaged in flooding in Haiti and brought safe water and shelter to cyclone survivors in Myanmar. In November, some 3,000 participants from more than 130 countries gathered in Rio de Janeiro for World Congress 3 against sexual exploitation of children and adolescents. Whilst in Burundi, over 200 child soldiers were demobilized and reintegrated into schools and society. Legislative reform is one of the most overlooked vehicles for sustainable development. Over the last decade, UNICEF has played a leading role in encouraging legal reform to realise children's rights. UNICEF's Goodwill ambassadors continue to ring alarm bells to ensure children's issues command the world's attention. David Beckham travelled to Sierra Leone, Jackie Chan to Beijing, and Mia Farrow made repeated visits to Central Africa and Haiti. Ismail Beyer urged Jamaican youth to reject violence. Lang Lang launched a foundation. And Her Majesty Queen Rania visited Brazil and Argentina, whilst Desmond Tutu celebrated 60 years of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights with a new PSA. The world has seen more progress for children over the last 60 years than in the previous 500. Yet, as a global financial downturn enveloped the world, the challenges faced by children remain as urgent and complex as ever. To accelerate momentum towards achieving the MDGs, the world must continue to invest in children. Swift and concerted efforts are needed, working with private donors, governments, national committees and NGOs. UNICEF will continue to evolve and respond to the needs of children all around the world.